So Rain is flooding my apartment.
Honey, yeah, I think
Is you
let's try, honey.
is
This
still
one.
there? Oh, teachers.
Good morning.
Morning.
Is
Morning,
everybody
Professor.
okay?
Just for that, she just noticed that she's having a presentation next week.
Oh, okay. For what? What subject?
I didn't ask her. She's a little bit panicked at the moment.
She forgot about our test today, sir.
Oh,
I had 2 days. I thought it was 2 days from yesterday because I'm a day behind.
okay. All right. I know it happens, and we are approaching almost the end of the trimester, and I know that you have a lot of things to do. So, yeah, just move on by the grace of God. Do you have any prayer request?
No.
No?
Yes, sir, I do actually.
Yes, please share.
Yeah, I just need somewhere to live, myself and my wife. We our tenancy finishes on the house where we're staying at the moment, so we just need to find somewhere temporary, you know, till Christmas, hopefully.
Okay. All right.
It's quite tricky at the moment, obviously, you know. People aren't renting out their properties.
Yeah. Right. So we need to pray for that.
Puppy
Right.
please,
Thank you
yes.
for sharing. Yeah. What about others? Anyone else? All right. We would like to ask Samson to lead us in prayer.
Okay, let's pray.
Let's pray.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day. You've given us an opportunity to be able to come as a class and just continue to learn this ancient language, Lord God. I pray, Lord, for Professor, Lord God. I pray you speak to him, Lord, and also Professor Elavia, Lord, as they teach us, Lord God. We just ask for your Holy Spirit's guidance. And also we pray for Brother Pierce, Lord God, who's looking for a place, Lord. And we know, Lord, nothing's impossible with you, Father. So we put all our trust, Lord. We put all our faith in you, Lord God. And I know you won't leave your servants to be stranded or abandoned, Lord God. Pray you continue to bless, Lord. Help us to have a productive class today, Lord. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Samson.
All right. Before we start, want to remind you of your quizzes. As usual, after the class today, you can take your vocabulary quiz anytime and should submit it before tomorrow's class. And you will take another translation quiz tomorrow. But there will be extra quizzes. I don't know when, and I will soon announce it. But the test will be done as oral quizzes. So, which means you are going to have a short meeting, like with me, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. What I'm going to do is to ask you to read Hebrew Bible that I'm going to show you through my slide. So the way I share my slide when I'm teaching the classroom, I'm going to show you some Hebrew scriptures. Then you need to read it, okay, with accuracy and fluency. And that's one quiz out of 3. And the second one is your vocabulary quiz. Again, I'm going to show you maybe 20 slides of Hebrew words, okay, each one. Then you need to let me know the meaning, okay. And lastly, I'm going to ask you some grammatical aspects, such as, hey, Dominic, can you tell me about the characteristic and everything that you understand about missing letter number one, which is about first root verb? Okay, then you need to let me know. And sometimes I can ask, like, what can you tell me about construct chain? It's a very broad question, but it's a good question by which I can see if you really understand the lessons. So you really need to go back to the previous lessons and make sure that you are aware of all the important, aspects in terms of grammars. So that's it. And it's most likely I'm going to remove the vocabulary quiz from your final exam because it takes normally 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours to finish the final exam. According to my experience with previous Hebrew students, because I told you that you have 100 vocabulary in your final exam. So it is divided into three parts: vocabulary and grammar and translation. So it's most likely I'm going to remove uh, the vocabulary part since I am planning to take it individually. So I will make the announcement, okay? But make sure that you really start memorizing all the vocabulary. So up to now, you are supposed to know how many words?
140.
140.
Yes, good, good. All right. So do you have any question regarding your quizzes? Is that clear? Okay, then let's move on. I got a message from Pierce this morning. Okay, Pierce, what is your question regarding lesson 15?
Yes, sir. There was, I just noticed on the plural form of, I'm trying to remember what it was now. It was man, wasn't it? Ish is a man. Yeah. And when it goes to the plural form, it's the yod turned into a noon on the slide. Just trying to find it.
Okay, I see, I see.
Yes.
All right. So you wanna know why?
Yes, please, sir.
Okay, the answer is very simple. That's the way it is.
Okay.
No reason. In fact, I know why you are asking me this question because, like, when we apply this knowledge, like when we have a plural form, normally, especially masculine, it's quite straightforward that we normally have a im ending, right? So the singular form is ish, man, and then the plural form is anashim. So your question is, okay, the ending is im, so it's understandable. It's quite straightforward principle that we can apply. But sometimes even it's not only ish and anashim. There are some words, it's a noun, uh, of which singular form and plural forms are quite different. And there seems to be no constancy in terms of rules and principles. So, well, I think you can just, you cannot always answer, the questions when it comes to the linguistic issues. For example, English, we do have a general principle. When you want to make a singular word plural, then we normally put s or es, right? So that is a general principle. But we do have other rules, even as an exceptional word, like even what is it, leaf, and what do we have for plural form? Leaf, the tree leaf,
Leaves.
leaves,
Yes. Yeah.
and then
Leaves.
what about then foot and feet? tooth and teeth.
Hmm.
So we do have even irregular, variation in terms of the singular form and plural form. I think you know much better in this, issue regarding this issue. So even talking about this, you are right that it has no reason for the plural form to have all of a sudden noon, okay, instead of the yod. But that's the way it is. That's the way the Hebrew people used the word. Okay, so don't try to really spend a lot of times understanding why we have all of a sudden noon. That is a simply plural form. Okay, I hope you just understand this. All right. So
That's
do
good.
not,
Thank you, sir.
do not, what is it? Bother yourself about this. Just accept the destiny. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Let me move on. Lesson 16. Oh, regarding, all right. Some of you, I believe most of you have already noticed my message that I sent to you right after the class yesterday, because we had a little issue regarding the textbook and our PowerPoint. And because of what was written in our PowerPoint and my understanding was different from that of the textbook regarding the usage of Natan. Natan is, well, the first impression that we received was what? Natan is a Hebrew verb, right? Which means to give. And then I told you that no, it's not a Hebrew verb, but it's Hebrew name. Why? Because according to my slide, there was comets under the tav, right? So Nathan, comets. And then I drew your attention to the fact that the second comet is supposed to be patah in order for the word to be the verb. Okay, that's correct. So if you have kametz and patah, then that's always a Hebrew verb, Natan. But if you have kametz, then that's always the name, Nathan. Okay, so that's how we distinguish Hebrew verb Natan from the name Nathan. All right, and then Pierce pointed out that sometimes the Hebrew verse that is written in the textbook is different from, the Hebrew Bible or English Bible verse, right? Okay. The reason why we have the difference between them is because of the difference. Sometimes it doesn't refer to, how can I say? Okay, what I'm trying to say is sometimes the textbook follows the Hebrew Bible. And then there is difference between Hebrew Bible and the English translation. But you can easily notice that it's not really big difference. Sometimes when it is, let's say, as an example, Judge 3, verse 2 in the textbook, and then the real passage in the Bible is like Judge chapter 3, verse 1 or 3. So it's just one or two verses differences. This is not really big difference. It doesn't really necessarily mean that the textbook is wrong. It is following. Okay, so don't really think it's making a lot of mistakes. Excuse me. Hello. Sorry, I'm taking. I will call you. All right. Thank you. Sorry. Sometimes I have a quite important issues. I cannot really ignore my phone ringing. I hope you can understand. All right. So that's my answer. So let's move on to lesson 16. Okay. Okay, lesson 16. Amos, would you like to read, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Vayapol Yosef al Panay Aviv Aviv Ane Anevok Alav 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 Vayashak Lo.
Okay, you have a good fluency, but in terms of accuracy, it's not really 100% perfect. Let's do it one by one. What is the first one?
Vayapol
Okay, ba e.
Vayapol.
Don't need to put yeah because
Okay.
yeah, right. Vaifol and
Vayapol Yosef
Yosef,
al Panay
Dal,
Panay
Ane,
Aviv
Aviv. Good job.
Vayabak
Good job.
Alav
Eve.
Alive. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Alive.
Mm-hmm.
Vaishak Lo.
Good job. Very good. All right. Can I ask one more? Grace, would you like?
By Pel Paul
Paul.
by Paul
Uh-huh.
Yosef
Mm-hmm.
al
Mm-hmm.
Panay
Mm-hmm.
Abiv
Mm-hmm.
Vayebek
Mm-hmm.
Alive
Mm-hmm.
Vaishak Lo.
Very good. Good job. You did a good job. All right. One more. So you tried to avoid my eyes to see me. James.
Yes, sir. Why Paul Yosef Al Pene Aviv Vayivek Al El Alive Vayishak Lo.
All right. Not bad. Okay. Last one. FL. Yeah. You want to try FL? Something happened.
there. I had to unmute myself. Okay. By Paul Joseph Al Pene Vive Vai Michamer Yalla Vaishach.
Okay. I think the internet connection is not good enough, but I think I could understand you. Okay. One typical problem that I have observed from you is ayin. It's not yod. So ayin has no sound at all. So even this one is not yalive because al. The first one is al. So ayin has no sound. That's something that you need to always pay attention to. Okay, and then this one is bet, not mem. So baye, back. All right, that's it. You might be confused as if we need to pronounce this one as a vocal because it comes under dagesh. But this dagesh is not real dagesh. When the kaf is coming in the end, then it sometimes take the dagesh, and then it has no function at all, especially as a dagesh forte. It's just the conventional way of writing. And then, yeah, that's it. So that's why you don't need to pay attention to the presence of dagesh forte here. So the last shua is silent. Okay, today we are going to talk about first to noon verbs, especially in relation to prefix form. Okay. And we need to deal with a special Hebrew verb, which is baka. Do you remember the meaning of baka? Have you ever memorized this meaning? Baka? No, not yet. To whip. W-E-E-P. Whip. Crank. Not yet? Right. Then you need to really memorize this word because this is quite a special word. In terms of the degree of exception, this is, I think, the most important thing. Okay, and the most strange one. But anyway, it's okay. It's not a really big problem. We will pay attention to it later. So we are going to deal with the word baka as a special one, and some idiomatic expression with the preposition lamed. In fact, when it comes to today's lesson, it's not really new stuff, but quite important and quite confusing. So let's just start. I would like to ask um, Paul. Paul, can you find any verb here? Okay, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. So what number do you think it is?
Number 1 and 1, 2,
Okay.
3, 5.
Number
Number
1.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this one.
Yes, sir.
And then, can you see it? One more?
Oh, yeah, the last one, sir.
Yes, very good. Why do you think these are verbs?
Based on the verb comparisive, or there are verb comparisive. They have verb comparisive.
All right, they have verb comparisive. That's a good approach. All right. When it comes to verb comparisive, it's quite, it's not really that difficult to recognize them as a verb because when you have verb comparisive, then normally they take a prefix form. And when you have a prefix form, it's not really hard for you to analyze the stem and the form. Okay, let me ask you this question then. Let's work on the first one, Paul. Let's analyze it, okay? How can you analyze it? After removing non-root letters, you need to start with the remaining consonants. So what consonants do you have? And then what root letters do you think we have here?
Pe, lamek.
Okay, you can say pe and lamet. Oh,
Yes.
we have only 2.
Yes.
Like, then this is the time for us to apply missing letter rule. So what missing letter rule do you have here?
Dagesh, based on the dagesh forte.
Right, good. Come on. All right. So dagesh forte, you're saying that you can see this dagesh forte. All right. What is it about?
Then the first noun verb.
Right. In this case, you need to know that this is a first noun verb. So the noun is missing from the beginning. So what is the root letter? Do you know the verb?
Yes.
What is it? Napal, which means?
Fall and lie.
Right, to fall. Doing a good job. And what is next? After root?
Stem. Car
Stem.
Yes.
All right. Let me ask you this question. Why do you think this is car?
Because bubble compressive.
Mm-hmm.
No, oh no. Just wait, please.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
All right. There are two possibilities in terms of stem, right? According to our previous lessons, it should be either Kal or PL, all right? And in order for this one to be the PL stem, it should take dagesh in the middle, which is taking place right now. Am I right? Why do you think this is Kal? It's not PL when we have dagesh in the middle.
Because we comment the what Jere.
Okay. Uh, you are throwing everything to me right now. All right. It's not that. In fact, this is quite tricky. Actually, nobody taught me about this before when I was studying Hebrew 1 and 2. And then I had a curiosity about this always. And I found out that when you have this question, always prioritize assimilation. Okay, let me tell you this. When it comes to the presence of dagesh, it may be either assimilation dagesh or dagesh forte. If you have the dot as dagesh forte, then it should be PS stem. But unfortunately, this dagesh functions as an assimilation. So in this case, you need to prioritize it. Then what do we expect when we have the PS stand for first number? Have you ever, asked this question before? All right, okay, Pastor, I understand that, if we have this case, then we need to prioritize our simulation. Then I'm going to put Q stem and I'm going to put the first noon. But what do we expect for first number for PS stem? It's most likely the first noon will not be disappearing. When the first noon verb is used in the PS stem. One more time. When you have the first noon verb, which is used in the PS stem, then there will be no assimilation. The noon will appear as it is. And the second root letter will still carry dagesh forte. In that case, we don't have any problem because you have nafar. And then the second root letter pe is taking dagesh forte, then you will see, oh, everything is there. And the middle letter is carrying dagesh forte for PS stem. See? And then you will have even verb conversive construction. So everything is there. So that is not going to be, a problem for us to analyze. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you following me? Why I'm just dealing with this question here? Because you can be curious about the identity of the stem between Kal and Pierre. But in Hebrew 1 and 2, always prioritize assimilation as a missing letter rule. All right. And if you are really wondering about what aspects will be taken for the PS stem of a first number, then everything will be appearing without assimilation. That's it. So, right, Paul, you did a good job. This is Kai, but I want to make sure that you are understanding, everything here. Okay. So, one more. Then, what is it? After stem,
And
the form.
yeah, form.
What form?
Prefix.
Right. Good job. Why?
Bubble compressive.
Verb conversive, especially for the yod. The yod is a great indicator of prefix form, and the indication what PZN?
3 MSG.
Yes, 3. Oh, what's? Sorry. All right, you're right. 3 MSG. By the way, I like MSG because of my wife taking rest after giving birth, and I need to cook. And MSG is God's creation. Without MSG, you cannot make your food yummy. Come to my house if you're hungry. Then I will offer you really delicious food. And Stephen Fambu understand what I mean. You have eaten something delicious. It's not because of my skill, because of my skill of snapping, MSG. Agree, Stephen? Was it yummy? All right, it's because of MSG. I'm gonna give the credit to MSG. It's not my ability. But anyway, 3 MSG. Let's move on. All right, what about then special feature?
Verb conversive, sir.
Right, verb conversive. And then meaning.
Meaning, and he fell.
Good job.
Professor, sorry, Professor.
And he fell. Yeah.
There's one thing, like we have a missing letter rule saying like, any like verb pointing other than comments or tere under the prefix should follow like the third missing, third aleph, like a word missing letter rule, right?
You're talking about third he verb, right?
Yeah, third he.
Right, good. I've noticed that Amos is always confused with this, and you always try to recall us. I think that's a good one. But all right, when you have two remaining letters after removing non-root letters, then that's the time for you to apply which missing letter rule you will apply here. Okay. So you are not supposed to use two different missing letter rules. So when you have the dagesh, right, then you always need to prioritize first noon for missing letter rule. So in this case, it's not a matter of our consideration. You are trying to say that, yes, let me just do this again. We have only two remaining root letters. And then the first thing that you want to do is to look at what kind of vowel point we have under the prefix pronoun. So he said that it's a good point. Any vowel point other than tere and kamet, it must hint at us that it is a third he verb. Yeah, that is one of the missing letter rules. But in fact, this is the time, this is not right time for us to apply this missing letter rule. Why? When you have this dagesh forte, then you always need to prioritize the possibility of first noon verb. Okay? That is my answer. Amos, so don't be confused. If you have only two remaining letters, okay? And then if the first one is taking dagesh forte, then you need to prioritize the missing letter rule for first number, because that's obvious that that is assimilation of the nun. Is that clear? But if you didn't have the dagesh here, then that's the time for you to look at this vowel point. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay, that is my answer. Thank you for the question. There might be
I just have another question. If there's no vowel pointing under the prefix pronoun, that's a PL stem, indicator of a PL stem. Is that right?
I'm sorry?
If there's no vowel pointing under the prefix pronoun, under the yod, is that an indicator of the PL stem?
Here.
Yeah.
Why do you think so?
I've got it written in my notes. On lesson 12. Maybe I wasn't listening right, I don't know.
I don't know if I ever thought that way. Okay, then this is the time for us to look at our verb chart. Okay, let's look at 432. 432, your textbook. And then 433. All right. I'm sorry if you don't have your textbook. Just gonna simply, let me do my best in explaining. Okay, what what kind of vowel points do we expect under the prefix pronoun for the PS stem? Then what do you need to look at? You need to go
Here.
to PS stem and prefix form. And on page 433, it starts with PL, and then the first column is affix, and the second is prefix. So what do you have? Yod, and then pakat. So in fact, as you can see that we have shua under the prefix pronoun. All right, Pierce, can you see that?
Yes, yes, I can. Yeah.
And then let's go to the bottom. Let's go to the bottom, and then you have another form. It's a verb conversive form with the prefix form. Can you see this? Under the PL, go down to the bottom, and then you have vaye paket. So the vowel pointing could be different from that of just a simple prefix form, because this one comes together with verb conversive. All right, so you need to take a look at it in terms of the vowel points. But here, once again, we have vowel point under the prefix pronoun here. All right, is that clear? So in this case, it's not really typical. What is it? How can I say? It doesn't offer the accurate vowel point because we don't have the chart, the verb chart for first noun verb and especially for PS stem. In order for us to double check about the vowel points, then we need to use our verb chart for the first noun verb and then especially PS stem. And if you go to the chart, we don't have the specific chart. Okay, where can you find the first noun verb? On page 438. I'm teaching you how to use your verb chart. Okay, in order for you to use this chart, then you need to determine what verb it belongs to. If you are dealing with a strong verb, then you just go to the strong verb chart, which is on page 432 and 433. In this case, you are dealing with a first noun verb. Then you need to go to first noun verb, which is appearing on page 436. Are you there? 436, no, 438. That's for what? First noun verb, right? And then what stem do you need to look at? We have kal, difal, hifil, hofal. Unfortunately, we don't have PL stem. That's quite sad. That's why, it was quite confusing for us to recognize the presence of first noun verb. That's why, I need to let you know that what do we expect? Then we can simply recognize, perhaps you need to take a look at the strong verb PL stem. So that's what we can expect. And then it will take noun. If we have a PL stem here for the first noun verb, and then the noun, first noun will not disappear, and it will just appear as it is. Okay? So anyway, if you understand that if we don't have any vowel points under the prefix pronoun that indicates a PS stem, no, it doesn't work that way here. Okay? Perhaps peers can let me know which lessons, and we will deal with it later. But anyway, here there is no reason for us to consider it as a PS stem. Okay, one more time. If you have a PS stem for first noun verb, and the first noun will not disappear. That is my answer. So don't be confused. If you have dagesh porte, then always prioritize assimilation and then kal stem. That's my answer. Okay, let me move on. And Pierce, perhaps you need to focus on others, and then we can deal with it by tomorrow if you can find it. Okay? All right. So who is the subject? He. 3MSG. It's Joseph.
Joseph.
So the final translation is, and Joseph fell. Good job. Paul, you did a good job.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and then what is R? Let's move on to Romero. What is R? Do you know? It's a preposition. Oh, I cannot hear you, Romero. No, it's not working. It's okay, Romero. I think it's God's will that I'm not supposed to ask you this question. You're busy right now, wearing the gown. Okay, just kidding. If you get your voice back, then just let me know. By the way, then let's move on to Phineas. What is it?
Sir, is preposition meaning upon,
Upon, on. What about this?
pene.
Mm-hmm.
It is construct, construct paint to
Chain.
yes.
So what is the first word?
Fane is faces, face.
Right. This one is pane, so which means face. And then this stereod is a specific bridge
Yes.
making a special construction. So we call it construct chain. And what is the specific role of this stereod?
Stereod, it is it's a bridging in between the face and then the following nouns.
All right, right. Thank you. And then what else? The most important thing.
It is indicating for the that one three that was MS was the PGN.
PGN.
The
okay.
His
It has no person. So probably you are talking about number, I guess.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. What number?
This a.
You have 50% possibility. Should be either singular or plural. Choose one.
That is plural, sir.
Good job. You got it. All right. Stereo is a special bridge. All right. What is putting these two words together? And in English, you can use of, but you need to always remember that. Okay, stereo is making the preceding noun plural. Okay, so if you do not use plural form, then you will lose 0.5 mark, the point. So gotta be careful with this. All right, so then, yeah, what is your translation of this? Okay, let's do this. What is this?
Aviv. His face, his father, sir.
All right, why do you think this is father together with his?
Because of the what's that? Hirek, Yod, and Vav, that is indicating the pronoun suffix. That is
pronominal suffix, right?
So
suffix,
singular.
Yes, his
father. Yes, sir.
All right. So what is your translation for these two?
His father's faces. His father's face.
All right. All right. So can you put the final translation for this?
Okay, sir. Joseph fell upon his father's face.
Okay. Right. That's acceptable. And then don't forget to put and.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Or upon the faces of his father can be accepted too.
upon.
Okay, so and Joseph fell upon his father's face, or upon the faces of his father. Okay, that's acceptable. All right, Stephen, let's move on. What is this?
This which I think it's the special verb, the whip.
Okay, so what is the root letter?
Va, vaka.
Vaka. How did you know?
Because the last verb is nas. Because it's only one looks similar to the one we learned today.
The answer is here.
We have three verbs, right? The
All
first
right,
verb is.
Anyway, you did a good job, right? Okay, but can you tell me why is it exceptional case? Can you explain to us? According to our missing letter rule, it doesn't work here.
It's serre, so it should be missing missing in the jot, but
Right.
maybe, but yeah, jot is not work here.
Right. Okay. You understand everything correctly. That's why it is a special case.
Hair also cannot.
Okay, let me explain. You did a good job. So after removing this verb conversive to get the prefix pronoun, we have only two letters. Then what do we need to do? We need to look at what kind of vowel point we have. We have tere. So tere indicates the first yod verb. So you need to actually, according to our vocabulary, then we need to put yod, bet, and kaf. Am I right? According to our missing letter rule. And then it doesn't work here because baka is appearing not only for like the first yod verb. Do you remember halak? Halak wants to be yadlak. So being an exceptional case, halak always follows the pattern for the first yod verb. So in fact, there is a pattern there for halak because it always follows the form for the first yod verb. But baka is quite tough guy. He doesn't want to be like any other guys. He wants to be, or she wants to be whatever he or she wants to be. So there is no any pattern at all. Sometimes it follows first yod verb, sometimes it follows third head verb, and sometimes it follows whatever he wants. So this guy is quite crazy, I have to tell you. Insane. So there is no any constancy there. That's why baka is quite special word. All right. So in this case, as I said, missing letter rule is not working. So this is another missing letter rule, specially designed for baka. And do not rely on the missing letter rule. Just remember, you have to pay attention to these two consonants. Why? Because the third he will be disappearing. So you need to be familiar with these two consonants. And you always need to think about the possibility of baka, no matter what kind of a vowel point you have. Okay, that's the only way for you to survive this. Okay, so all right, in this case, this is baka. What about stem? Stephen?
It's calf.
Okay, car stem because we don't have anything here. And the move on.
Prefix.
Prefix form. Good job.
Yes.
PGN.
PGN 3 MSG.
Or 3 MSG. Special feature.
Verb conversive.
Verb conversive. Meaning?
And he wept.
Good job. Because yeah, I told you the meaning of the word baka is to whip. So should be using the past tense of whipping. So it's a wept. So and he wept. Go ahead. What is this?
out. Upon
Upon, all right.
him.
All right, this is the, what is it? Type 2 pronominal suffix. This one means his father, and this one means his father too. So the type 1, type 2. Okay, 3 MSG pronominal suffix. So his father, upon his father. So what is your final translation?
And he wept upon him.
Okay, upon him. All right. Let's move on to this. Chompy. All right. This is a verb. What root letters do you think we have here?
What root letter?
Yeah.
There will be two possibility. The first one is head target for the, so it can be first nun, and the second possibility is no comet and Sarah, so it can
Third
be
hair verb.
yeah.
Yeah, I think right. Same question with that of Amos. In this case, you are not supposed to talk about third hair possibility. One more time, please understand. You need to always think about assimilation. Okay, if you are applying missing letter rule, no need to apply two possibilities. That's quite straightforward. In this case, the dagesh should be prioritized, which means you don't need to look at the vowel point under the prefix pronoun. If you have dagesh, always think about first number. Do not think about the third hair. Okay, you need to prioritize it. If you don't have any dagesh forte here, then you have the hirek here, like this, then that's for the third hair. But you will never have two possibilities in terms of missing letter rule. So in this case, having the dagesh forte, it should be always first number. Is that clear, Chompy? But you did a good job coming up with these two possibilities, because you seems like you have understood everything here. But don't be confused anymore. So then it should be first number. So then nun and shin
and
kof.
Yeah.
Nashak. Do you know the meaning of nashak? Very important word for you.
And he kissed.
Huh?
And he kissed.
Right. To kiss. To kiss. Okay. So remember this word, and when you are in a romantic relationship, say some words like, and you're going to learn imperative. So then you need to put this word as imperative. And sometimes I do use this one for my wife, right? Okay. Nashak. Say nashak.
Nashak.
You are shy. Brave. Be brave. Nashak.
Nashak.
Good job.
Good job, zombie. Woo, nashak.
Okay, thank you, Dominic, saying that I like the word. All right. Yeah. Okay, so nashak, to kiss. And then what about stem?
Kal.
Kal. Right, good. Form?
Prefix.
Prefix. Good job. Go ahead.
And 3 MSG.
Okay, 3 MSG. And
special feature. No. Preposition lamed.
Okay, lamed preposition. Good job.
And then vo is pronominal suffix.
Right. 3 MSG,
MSG.
pronominal
Suffix.
suffix. Okay. And you miss one thing important.
Or verb conversive.
Yes, verb conversive. Good job. Very good. So the meaning?
He kiss. And he kiss.
And then you need to
And
reflect the meaning of
yeah.
here.
And he kissed to
3 MSG?
Him.
Right.
Him.
So he kissed to him.
To him.
Actually, in terms of English, probably we better use like he kissed him, right? Without to. So in this case, let's say if you are dealing with this expression for your translation quiz or assignment, you will simply put he and he kissed him. But if you don't put the meaning of rame, then how can I recognize whether or not you really understand the word? So that's why I wanted you to put the meaning of the preposition into parentheses so that I will understand. Okay, he kissed
to him.
Then I will understand. Oh, this guy understand too. All right. So whatever was a smooth English translation you may prefer, show me the literal translation. Okay. In Hebrew 1 and 2, the literal translation is really important. Okay. All right. So what is your final translation, Chompi, altogether?
Okay. And Joseph fell on on his face.
No. The faces of
him.
Of
his. The faces of his father. Yeah.
Right, his father.
His
and
father.
And he wept
on him
on him and
he kissed to him.
Good job. Very good. So we are done today. You can go home. Oh no, you're already home. Let me go ahead, just quickly highlight some important slide. All right. I want to move on quickly here. We are dealing with card prefix first number type 1. Look at this. In terms of the first number, why is it special? Why? Because this one is a strong verb, which is the most basic form. So when this one is used in the prefix form card stem, these are what we expect. So pay attention to the vowel points. Hirek, Shua, Holem. That's why it is called type 1. If you move to type 2, then you will have different one. Like here. These are all first number, right? But why is that this one is taking Yod and Holem being 3 MSG vowel conversive? And this one is also vowel conversive, 3 MSG. Then why is that the vowel points are not identical, especially the second one? Why? Because this one is type 1 and because this is type 2. That's the way it is. It follows different pattern. So we have different categories even for the first noon verb, but not big deal. Why? because you still have everything there. Prefix pronoun, and then dagesh as an assimilation. Then that's why you can put past tense and prefix form. So no matter what. So as long as you understand this, we're okay. Do you have any question? I think you can all recognize this as nafal and then kal prefix form. As long as you can do that, we don't have any problem. Then move on. This one is type 2, as I explained. See, the vowel point is different. But what is the significance of memorizing all those two? There will be a certain time for you to pay attention to those vowel points, but not now. Now, why? We have no problem actually trying to recognize and analyze all the stems and form. We can put it as a kal and prefix form. That's it. Then move on. So now look at this baka. I'm going to read it. Analysis of Vayebek. According to the missing letter rules, the tsere under the prefix pronoun indicates first yod verb, having the missing letter in the beginning. So the root should be yod bet kaf. But this is one of the 5% or so of cases where the convention for identifying the missing letter simply does not work. Although we have memorized all the missing letter rules, there is 5% cases where the missing letter rule doesn't work. But praise the Lord, only 5%. Somebody may say, 5%? No, it's only 5%. So be positive. Okay, and then the root here is baka, which means whip. Sometimes baka will follow the missing letter rule. Sometimes it follows missing letter rules. Okay, sometimes it won't. So like here. The second one is tsere. In the case, what is it about? Tsere indicates first yod verb. So this one, like today's word, the missing letter rule doesn't work. But what about this? Sometimes it follows the missing letter rule. After removing non-root letter here, and we remove this shurek ending, and we have hirek. Amos, we don't have dagesh forte here. Then that's the time for us to consider missing letter rule for the third he verb, because we don't have dagesh forte. Okay, so hirek is any vowel point other than tsere and kamets. Then that indicates what? The third he verb. So in this case, we don't have any problem recognizing the third he verb. So sometimes it follows the pattern for the missing letter rule. Is that clear? Okay. There are a few other third he verbs that sometimes take the prefix pronoun vowel over a first yod verb. What do we mean? Okay, this is a shatta. Shatta is a third he verb, but when is it used together with the verb conversive? Okay, praise the Lord. It is following the expected vowel point in terms of missing letter rule. Because shatta, we don't have dagesh, then we need to look at what? What kind of vowel point do we have under the prefix pronoun? So it's hirek. So it indicates third he verb. What about nata? Nata is quite confusing, but praise the Lord. We have first a dagesh forte, and then hirek. No, we don't need to pay attention to it. So in this case, one more time, we need to pay attention to the presence of dagesh forte. Then it means assimilation. That it indicates first nun verb. So it should be na, ta. Ra is the same. We have everything here. And then hiragyot. I don't know why we have this one. We don't have any problem putting this one as ra, and then prefix pronoun and ka stem. Oh, I think we gotta be careful with the stem, because the middle gutter letter is taking ein, and which can take dagesh forte, and perhaps then we can expect the lengthening here, but unfortunately the lengthening is not taking place. So it should be ka. This is not the main point that we are dealing with right now. You need to take a look at this. They are all third head verb, but they are following all the missing root letter for first yod verb, taking zere under the prefix pronoun. Okay, being a third head verb, it should follow all those patterns. But this is ambiguous to pointing. Why? Because they are following the missing letter rule for first yod verb. So it's not only baka, but sometimes shata, nata, la, they are following the first yod verb missing letter rule. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you about those words. Except baka. Baka will appear sometime in your quizzes. So you need to pay attention to this. Okay, as an important word. What is the lesson today regarding baka? This is a crazy one. So do not remember anything. Baka is always a baka. So that's why you need to pay attention to the first two consonants, be and kap. If you have be and kap, and then he is missing, all right, it will appear in the form of prefix or affix. In case of a prefix form, then you will have missing letter rule. So looking at be, kap, always think about baka. Okay, that's the way it is. You need to remember this. Let me move on. So these are the analysis of today's main verbs. I don't think you have any problem here. Let me move on. So I means on upon all the translation. Do you have any question regarding these translation? Let me move on. Okay, these are the most important your chart for pronominal suffix. So we are dealing with 3 MSG today many times. O, who, I. That is type 1 and type 2, and this is alternative form. So you need to really memorize this form. See, they will appear many times in your translation quiz. Like today's, how many times did we have it? Already 2 times. This is really important. They will appear together with a preposition or a noun. So you need to really memorize this. These are the example which are used for together with a preposition. So this one is lamed and this is I. So you will see how it can be used together with a pronominal suffix for a preposition. Okay, but you still have all those things here from here. All right, hiragyot and I. So here, hiragyot and I. So type 1 and type 2. Okay, and it's another example for a noun used together with pronominal suffix. So looking at this, you need to know what it means by this. Okay. All examples. Okay, lastly, this is the most important thing today. Let me just move on. We are dealing with a fixed form for Nathan. The special, aspect that we need to pay attention to is the fact that Nathan has first noon and the third noon. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nathan is taking noon in the beginning and in the end. And then what do you expect? Assimilation, not only from the beginning, but from the end. Let's do this. The typical form of 2FSG, a fixed form, should be ta and tu. Can you see this? That's nothing, ta, tu, ti. So praise the Lord, we have nothing in the beginning. So the assimilation is not taking place in the beginning. And then the first noon will appear as it is because we have nothing in the beginning. But here, we have something in the end, like ta ending and tu ending. Then it will affect ta ending and t ending, and then it will affect the preceding nun sound. One more time. When the nun is followed by or preceded by something, then it is normally assimilated. Okay? Are you following me? So here, that's why we cannot see nun. We cannot see nun, but assimilation, assimilation, assimilation. Are you following me? So that is the special about nun. See, 10, 10, you have assimilation instead of nun. What about nu? Atatuti, u, 10, 10, nu. So the nu is a specific ending for 1C pair of fixed form. And then natan nun is assimilated to the nun. Do you understand? So this nun is a fixed form of 1C pair. And then the natan, the third nun, assimilated. Are you following me? Are you following me? Okay. So in case of 3C pair, okay, let me finish this one first. Natan is there, and then the specific ending. So the last nun is not assimilated. So you need to pay attention to this. All right. Okay, what is it, FL?
Could you repeat the one about the if the last nun is preceded by a vowel?
No.
I
Okay.
can't even remember.
All right.
That rule again?
If the last nun is followed by a consonant sound, like t, then the last nun will be assimilated to the dagesh. Athel, are you following me? It is Nathan. So supposed to be the nun should be here, Nathan. But why is that we don't have nun and we have dagesh? Because the second nun is assimilated to the following consonant sound. Are you following me? That's why we don't have nun here. We don't have nun here for Nathan, but we have assimilation. Can you see that?
Because of the consonant.
Yeah, following sound. Okay.
Followed by a consonant.
Yes, followed by a consonant. It will happen for prefix form too. Let me finish. We are almost done. In terms of a prefix form, then you need to think about what can be taking place here. What if we have prefix form and together with and prefix pronoun? Let's look at this. This one is Nathan. And the first nun is assimilated to the following consonant. Is that clear? And then the prefix pronoun yod is there. Okay? In terms of the specific ending, and let's look at 2FSG. We have beginning, we have ending in terms of the special addition. Are you following me? So for these prefix pronoun, it's good that they have assimilation all here. Why? Because of the presence of prefix pronoun in the beginning. That causes assimilation in the beginning. So that's why we have assimilation here. It's not new to us. Well, what I'm trying to say here is this. When we have hirek yod and it still have hirek yod, because this is like, it's not It's not consonant sound. It's a vowel sound. That's why the nun doesn't need to be assimilated. But what about then u, na ending, especially na ending? In the beginning, we have prefix pronoun, and then the first nun is assimilated to the taf. And what about then the last nun? It is supposed to be taking nun in the beginning and in the end. And then the na ending is the specific ending for 3FPL. Are you following me? U, na, u, na. Are you following me? But the na ending is taking assimilation instead of nun, because we need to have double nuns. The first nun is natan nun, and then the last nun is the nun for na ending. U, na, u, na. Come on, are you following me? Don't be confused. So this nun is assimilated. So now, what is it special about Natan? So you need to pay attention to the fact that the first nun and then the second nun can be assimilated whenever they are followed by a consonant sound, especially in case of the first nun, it should be preceded by a prefix pronoun. That's it. So we understand this, but when you are dealing with this in your translation quiz, you will be confused. That's why you need to practice. So extra grammar. Okay, what is it, Ethel?
So it has to be a closed consonant, not open, in order to be assimilated.
Yeah. It should be followed by a consonant sound. More accurately, you are not supposed to use the closed sound and whatever. You better use the idea of okay. Okay. So why do you need to have this slide? Because you need to be familiar with all those verbs. Because natan, nasa, nasa, napal, naga, nashak, and nagash. Your vocabulary is important because they will be helping you to recognize them. So when you are dealing with first noun verb, and I want you to pay attention to the two um, remaining root letters, because you may, what is it? Miss the first noun. Then you need to pay attention to these two remaining consonants so that you will be able to recognize it quickly. All right? So that's the importance of this slide. And let me finish this one. What is it? Sometimes DDO of the verbs are replaced by preposition lamed or beb instead of DDO marker et. So when we have lamed and bet, don't simply try to put to or in, but I want you to do it in terms of literal translation. But in terms of translation, sometimes they function as a DDO. So like this one, 로 바카르티 베이르. What does it mean? Bakar means choose. So the meaning is, I did not choose a city. So Ir means a city, but literal translation should be in a city. But here, be is used as a DDO, at. So it has no meaning, but indicating that the following word is object. So in terms of translation, you need to understand that lamed and bet can be used as definite direct object marker. Okay, I'm gonna stop here, and then tomorrow I will spend maybe 10 minutes for this. Okay, let's summarize today's lesson. What is special about today's lesson? You need to remember first noun verb, assimilation. So that was not right new thing, But when it comes to Nathan, then you are going to pay attention to the second, the last noon, because the last noon can be assimilated when it is used for a fixed form and sometimes prefix form, especially when it is followed by the specific ending for PGN. A, ta, tu, ti, u, tem, ten, nu. So you need to remember Nathan, the last noon will be assimilated. And then baka is a special verb. Baka will not follow the third hair verb rule in terms of missing letter rule, but sometimes it follows. But in that case, we don't have any problem because it follows the pattern. So baka is an exceptional word. Okay, thank you for your time. Sorry about 10 minutes that we just passed. So I'm gonna see you tomorrow, and don't forget to take your vocabulary quiz before tomorrow's class, and be ready for your translation quiz. As a hint, it's a good hint, pay attention to infinitive construct form. Study hard, all right? I'm quite generous to tell you this. Study hard, infinitive construct, especially the exceptional cases, not really ordinary case, okay? What else? And then you need to study about the usage of attributive adjective and predicative adjective. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, so study hard. That will not be that easy. The translation quiz tomorrow. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, God bless you. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
Professor.
and infinitive, what? Infinitive
Construct. Infinitive construct.
Okay, that's
Okay,
what
that
I
is
said.
one of
Okay.
the form. Okay, FL, what kind of forms have you studied so far? Prefix, affix, participle, infinitive construct. So you need to study what it means by infinitive construct as a form.
Okay.
Okay.
As a form. Okay, sir.
All right. Do you have any question?
The answers, sir.
Sorry, Dominique?
No, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. All right. See you tomorrow.
I've got a quick question, please, Jingin.
Yes.
According to lesson 16 in the very beginning, as we can see the via Vic, is it via Vic or via Vic? It's gonna be affect the pronunciation when we.
Okay, so are you talking about the Shua sound?
Yes. No, the Vit. It doesn't have the dagesh in the middle. It's gonna be via Vic or via Pick.
Okay, let me just show you this one. Oh no. Where are you? Okay, are you talking about this? This?
Yes.
So what is your question?
My question is, yeah, be.
Mm-hmm.
If I am going to pronounce like this via Beck, that's going to affect my translation because of the darkish. It doesn't have the darkish linear inside there. They get the fat letter.
Okay.
So what will be the correct pronunciation for that one? Via Beck or via Beck?
As it is without dagesh forte.
Yes.
So Bayebek.
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 Okay.
Why is it so much important to you? It has all right. The pronoun in terms of pronunciation, you might be curious about it, but in terms of grammar, it's not really that important. It doesn't affect your translation, but it just affects your pronunciation. So without be, you just pronounced it softly. Vaye back. If you have here, then that's gonna be either dagesh forte or dagesh nene. If you have a long preceding vowel point, then it should be dagesh forte. Then in this case, it's not dagesh lene. Then dagesh lene functions what? To make the sound stronger. But this one is dagesh forte. Then what is the function of dagesh forte? Then that's going to be doubling. So in terms of in pronunciation, it has different function. So if you have this dagesh forte, then you need to double it. Then the sound is ba yep back, because the B sound will be doubled. But if you have dagesh rene, then that's going to be simply the stronger sound without doubling. Then that's going to be ba ye back, back, right? dagesh rene. But dagesh forte should be doubling. Then ba yep back. Do you understand?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
See you
Also,
tomorrow.
I want to ask related
Yeah.
to that verb. When we do verb analysis of baka, we like, I don't know who did it, but we found like we were looking for dagesh from bit, but I thought if it's like root letters ba, like bit, kaf, and he, we need to find dagesh from the second root letter, right? Why we need, like, why we were looking for dagesh from bit? Then
we are not looking for dagesh here, actually.
because when we recognize, when we identify peel stem or kal stem, we need to find dagesh. But like when like during class, it's just straight kal. But I was thinking, why
Oh, we have. All right.
dagesh
You are
is not
confused
like
because according to your understanding, then there should be another possibility of the PL in terms of stem. But why is that? I just immediately point out, consider it as a cos stem. But why do you think this is a PL stem?
No, I was just confused because if it's root letters 3, bit, kaf, he, then third he is missing. So second root letter is kaf, then it has
is taking
kind of
dagesh
dagesh.
here.
Then I was like, why
Okay,
is
all right. Now I understand your question. All right, since this second root letter is taking dagesh, then you think this one must be dagesh forte, right? So that's why you think this one should be PS stem. Right, thank you for asking me this question. I think I need to even tell my student about this. But this one, kaf, is not dagesh forte, but dagesh lene. So in fact, this one is not dagesh forte, but dagesh nene. Then that's why it is not functioning as a doubling for PS stem. Okay, that is my first answer. If this one is dagesh forte, then you are right. But this one just appears as how can I say? As a dagesh lene. That's what I can say. And okay, in order for you to recognize the presence of dagesh forte, what did you do? If the dagesh is preceded by a long vowel point, then it should be dagesh forte. Do you remember this?
Yes, yes.
And this one is not a long vowel, and then this one is not dagesh forte. If this one is not dagesh forte, then it's not a matter of consideration for the PS stem. Is that
I
clear?
understand. Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the question. You're understanding everything. That's why you could ask me this question. Glad that you're doing a good job. All right, see you tomorrow.
See you. Thank you.
Thank you.